right, ready. We need clap.
Right,
1, 2,
we're on
3.
the
Oh.
All right, let's try it again.
Wait. 1, 2, 3. All right, good
There we
enough.
go.
Yeah.
Damn,
All right,
better
now we
than
sing. Now we sing.
All right.
So welcome to what the lessons and journey of a streamer, right? Or streamers, all three of us.
Streamers.
You guys been doing it for a
Yes.
long time. I think you might have done it way longer.
I am
The longest
the
streamer.
I am
longest.
the eldest, Justin TV,
Yeah.
but been doing this for a while.
What's Justin TV, in case we don't know?
Justin TV is ye old like streaming like website. It was since 2008. I jumped in at 2009.
2009? Oh wow, yeah, the website was super jank at that point.
Yes.
The intros? Oh, that's right. Sorry. Like we just got into it and I was like, oh my gosh. All right. Well, Mr. Justin TV, elder streamer, can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Gary Moore, aka Zyzix _ aka the Funny Black Guy, on multiple videos at this point. I've been streaming for about since 2009. So what is that like? Oh God, it was like 15 years or something like that. I think.
15 years.
Yeah, 15, 16, some like big number, over 10.
That's a quinceañera right there.
It's real. Been doing it for a while. It was a hobby at first, and then it just kind of just shot up into this point to where I'm at a panel now. So I think that's pretty cool.
Kind of neat.
It's kind of neat.
Hell yeah.
Kind of fire, dude. Who's this guy though?
My name's I Heart Justice, aka Javi, for those who may not know me, and I'm commonly doing content with my boys, Zyzix _ and Light Thero. They're honestly longtime homies, and I'm glad that I met them through streaming. So originally, I was actually an esports competitor. For those who might not know, I competed regularly in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. That's probably like the oldest content you can find of me. And I love that. I did it for a nice time. I think I achieved like all the goals I could in that game. I played a pretty trash character for a long time. So being able to jump into the content world where I'm not limited by the character select screen is kind of cool. And actually, the biggest advocate for me was Light Thero. He actually pushed me regularly.
Both of us,
Both of
actually.
us, yeah. But I was a little more timid. So I'd say I started streaming like maybe 7 years ago. Not probably about half the time that you've been streaming.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've just fallen in love with it ever since.
All right, cool. My name is Peter Lam. Go by XenosKing on just everything else. I'm a realistic optimist, and I help content creators grow their brand and learn how to operate more as a business so they can make a living doing what they love. Also, being a realistic optimist, I have to, I hope that this is working, right? But I have to double check. Is it recording, just to make sure? Okay, I'm just, being a streamer, you don't know when stuff, like sometimes you go live and you're not actually live and you're just talking to yourself.
I have done that.
Yeah.
3 hours.
Right?
3? No, you didn't.
I didn't check, bro.
You're trolling.
I was playing Metal Slug. I was in it, dude. I was playing Metal Slug. I was like, damn, chat's gonna. I just went to bed, dude.
That's real. I actually believe that. At first I didn't.
Yeah, one time I streamed for a good hour without my mic was muted, from the intro, and no one was telling me, and I was like, what the hell? Do you guys think this is a feature or something? I'm muted on purpose, but. No,
it's messed up. I played Marvel 3 for about at least 40 minutes, and I was cooking someone and popping off, and I was like, oh, this is so electric. It's got to be so popping, and it's just dead crickets, and I'm so mad about it.
The footage ruined.
Mute.
So actually, let's talk about origin stories, right? Like how and why. So let's go to Gary first.
Well, I mean, so I started watching Justin around 2008. Put the mic to my face.
There you go.
It feels good.
Etiquette.
Feels good.
Yeah.
So I started watching retro streams like Castlevania, like Super Mario Bros, like Crash Bandicoot, and I saw this guy named Luffy Kid, like super OG streamer on Justin TV. Doesn't stream anymore, but
What did they stream?
They was just retro games.
Oh,
That's all. They load up a emulator and just start playing whatever they want. So I was like, damn, you can just do that. That's my one. I was like, this is cool. I wanna do this. Like, it seems fun. Like, I play video games all the time. Might as well stream it. So I bought a Dazzle, and I had a Walmart headset mic, and I put it in front of me because I was too loud. So I just put it in front of me, and the audio was like, okay. So I did that for 4 years with that mic setup, and then finally started slowly start upgrading my stuff and whatever. Got more serious. And then started doing LPs on my YouTube channel. The first one was
What's an LP?
Let's Play. Yeah, Let's Play. was inspired by the Super Best Friends to start doing Let's Plays. I was like, well, I mean, I'm already streaming. Might as well get on YouTube and start doing what they're doing. The first one was Dead Space 2. And it was like a 35-part like Let's Play. Did all the editing, all the uploading on the channel. I learned a lot from this point. So it was all self-taught because there's no tutorials.
Right. A lot of forums back in the day because there's no Discord servers, right?
Yeah, it was either talking to people on Skype or just trial and error. It was mostly just trial and error. Like, it wasn't too hard, it was just a lot for a long time, like to just like wing it.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot doing all that.
For a lot of people listening, like who aren't like really familiar with what streaming like was like back in the day, OBS isn't as robust as it was now. And you didn't even have OBS. You like used some other.
It was
available.
XSplit.
It was XSplit. Yeah. So yeah, you use XSplit or you use some kind of like free software that allowed you to stream, but it was just super jank. Like you had to really look things up and be very technical with it. It's not like a press start solution that it is nowadays.
No, it was a lot of setup. A lot of setup for very mediocre like results.
Quality,
yeah. It was just the tech was so early, like no one knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
It was all just hobbyists. So yeah, it was a fun time. Fun time.
Awesome.
What about you, Javi? How'd you get started?
Yeah, so I kind of alluded to being a competitor for a long time. But prior to that, I mean, I guess it's better to go even farther back. My competitive drive started really early with FPSs. So that's kind of where I really got even the desire to play against anyone. I was a big Gears of War advocate. The first one that came out, I loved my boy, Dominic, Latin representation. I was like, let's go, that's my dude. So I played Dominic Santiago in Gears of War, and I played on this site called, I think it was called Net Battles, I believe is what it's called. Does that sound
It
familiar?
was either Net Battles or Game Battles.
Net Battle or Game Battle.
Yeah, that's
anyway,
what
it was
I'd
like
say.
a ranking site where you could, so I had a teammate, we'd do doubles, and my teammate, he was a lot older than me, but he could tell that I was, pretty good at the game as a kid. And he was like, yo, we should do it. I was like, sure. And then he set up like the whole account, all this nonsense. And then I started competing. And we'd have like rankings that were listed online. And at one point we like broke top 100 as like a duo, almost nearing top 50. And I was like, this is so awesome. This is great. I love this stuff. And also there was like a huge degree of like doo-doo talk, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, so Gears of War was not known for being very friendly.
Nope.
It was a very toxic community. I learned a lot of words I probably shouldn't know to this day. And it kind of like set me up to be ready for the FGC, if that makes sense, the fighting game community, because I was just so accustomed to dealing with that kind of like hostility. But the difference is in the FGC, it can be in good spirits. But in Gears of War, it was not. They really wanted me to.
Xbox Live was not the place.
No.
Man.
It was it was a cesspool. It was just a cesspool. So I got my drive from that. And then someone invited me to a local here in Vegas, and I played Marble for the first time there. Obviously lost, but I kept coming back, and I just really loved the competitiveness. Like carried me, right? Yeah. And then fast forward. So this is actually really funny. So Gary and I, what really pushed me to stream was when I met Lee Lythero, and that was actually at Evo. So here in Vegas, world's biggest tournament, Evo.
What year?
Evolution Fighting.
15, 14. It was
I want to say 15.
Yeah.
I want to say
Yeah,
15.
2015?
2015.
Yeah.
So almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And he was there, and he was looking for a Phoenix Wright tournament that was being streamed by this lovely person called Kevin Ha, great guy. And we both played Phoenix Wright, so we were looking for this room and like this, collaboration of Phoenix Wright players. We couldn't fill the room. There was not a lot of us.
Phoenix Wright players in Marvel.
In Marvel,
Not
that's
literally
what
the Phoenix Wright game.
No, not the game. I mean, I would imagine we all played the game.
Yeah.
But, you never know. So yeah, Ace Attorney shout outs. And so we were all looking for each other, and it was really funny. This is how we met Lee. We were looking for the room, and I was like, Gary, you go this way, I'll go that way. And then Gary apparently met up with him first. I was told that he could really like better, but they were both lost. So they were both like, hey, I'm lost. Hey, you're lost.
It was my first Evo, so it was my first convention in general. So I was like, this is way out of my league. I don't know what's going on. There's a bunch of booths, a bunch of people. Like, I'm a little shy. I'm a little introverted. I'm like, oh my God. There's so many people, geez. So I was walking to get Wi-Fi because my phone just no service, like broke boy hours, you know.
Yep.
Like, so I was trying to get some Wi-Fi, and I saw him. The reason why I didn't even approach him in the first place, it was the event before. It was a PSG, I forget what it was called. It was like Classic, I think so, something like that. So
Local venue.
yeah, so like I was shoutcasting, like I wasn't on commentary, I was just in the crowd, just like hyping up the match. And then he walked up to me, he's like, "Oh, we need to play a game. Like, you're so funny, we need to play." I'm like, okay. And so he didn't know at the time I am Javi's training partner. I taught him, I showed him the team he plays now. So I'm like, oh, well, I have an anti-Phoenix team, which he's a Phoenix right player, so he wasn't expecting to get blown up like 3-0. Like, it was like, I think it was like a 5-minute game. Well, it was like 3-0, just clean.
Yeah.
He's like, what is that? How do you know how to fight this character? I'm like, I'm training partners with IR Just. He's like, oh, of course I find the one guy.
The bond was like secured there too, because it was such a niche thing to run into literally the one guy, right?
Yep.
And Gary trained me super well, so he's like half the reason I want to dedicate even my expertise in that game. Like we went through the ringer, and so that happened. They met up. They had a bit of a rapport at that point.
Yep.
And he's like, I'm also looking for hobbies. So then we meet up.
And so this was like the birth of the Shenanigans.
Literally, yeah.
Yes.
Actually, we met up through the mutual love of a character. I guess hate in your case.
Well, I mean, like,
I'm just kidding.
it's like you want to learn, like, all right, I'll mess around with the character. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
super good at figuring out what characters can do and what team synergies I can find.
And at that point, it was Lee that kind of encouraged you to
and then
stream.
at that point,
Yeah.
Lee, he encouraged both of us.
Yeah.
But Gary was already kind of in it. I would
Yeah.
say he's more than that, and I maybe like dabbed my toe once or twice.
Yeah.
But he's like, Javi, you're very funny. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't feel very funny. I feel like you guys are funnier than me. That may be true. Hate you. That's actually been Lee's like main energy that he's put into me. He just makes me, I just want to spite the dude. He'll always say something to just like trigger me, and then he'll be like, oh, you know what, you're right, you would suck as a streamer. You know what, I'll show you, buddy. I'll show you. And he's always just kind of motivate me in that way, and it just kept going and going. And shout out to Lee, really, because he's given us a lot of support and love, and now we can kind of stand on our own feet. You know, we're at a panel and stuff.
Yippee!
He's actually like, I don't want to be there. Like actually, like not only does he not, we don't need him. He doesn't want to be here. He doesn't want it. We'd have to drag him. But yeah, thanks to him, I really kept going. And I was I came in at an age where it wasn't so difficult. It was the barrier of entry was a lot easier. So naturally, and I've always felt like I've grasped things very quickly, and I had a support system. So it was a wrap. Like I'd say I had the easiest path after that.
So actually talking about support system, right? Like I know that you guys have like an actual group called the Shenanigans.
Yes.
And how like important do you think it is to have that support system to keep you guys going? And like what, you know, exactly like did it help with?
So we have a Discord call, or I have a Discord called That's the Mix Up, and within there's a group called Whiteboard. It's just homies hanging out. That's literally it. And it went from like, it was just a group where we just hang out, and we all started like streaming like kind of like on a schedule. So basically like, I don't know, Dino or Bluto morning shift. This is not like anything confirmed, it just kind of happened. It was like morning shift, I'm like right in the middle. Yeah. And then Lee would be like the tail end, or Javi would be like tail end, and it just kind of happened. Like we went from friendship to like friends that also just happened to stream with each other. So having that bond with each other, just be able to hang out and just like naturally, what's the word? Yeah, just collaborate. Yeah, it made it really easy and fun. Like so, if you can just get your homies in on it from like like day one, like it's a pretty fun experience, I say.
Yeah, and it started a lot with just friends that weren't even streaming. Like not everyone in there was committed to a grind of like becoming a content creator or anything like that. They were just having fun with mutual friends. So, you mean, because at one point even I wasn't streaming, but I would jump on his stream to help out just because I liked the environment, right? And so we would invite more and more people. As we get bigger and bigger, more people naturally, they kind of like the vibe, right? It made sense, like, wow, they're having a lot of fun. It's not nearly as stressful, because content creation and streaming can be kind of stressful, especially if you're on your own, because I think there's just such an expectation. And realistically, that support system became invaluable because I'm someone who's always been very afraid of burnout. Like I'm very fearless in most areas, but I've always been afraid of like, what if I just hate this after a certain amount of time? But the support system we developed, I'd say mostly Gary, honestly, really like propelled us. and gave us such an energy. It's very hard to quit when everyone around you is also thriving, right? You're a product of your environment.
So I think this part's like pretty important because everyone's heard of like stream teams before, support systems and stuff like that. But sometimes when people try to bring it together for the sake of growing the streams, right? Sometimes the way that you started with the intention is good, but then the execution could be a little bad and it could turn toxic, right? Or it could just turn into a channel where everyone's just, you know, saying, hey, I'm live, come watch, right? Or they're just trying to farm like followers or farm views. How did you guys keep it like not like transactional, and then if there were any challenges with like the group early on, like how did you guys come together to solve these differences?
It was never really about views. We just wanted to hang out.
Yeah.
That was literally it. We just want to play games. And so everyone's playing games, and I see someone streaming, I just jump in. Hey, what's going on, man? Oh, I'm just playing this. I'll chill. Like literally eating food on their stream, like just hanging out,
Right.
like as if I'm just on their couch, just watching them play a game. It's pretty much it. It was never about. It was always friendship first. It just turned into that. It sprouted into like, oh wow, we're actually kind of like everyone's on their grind, like because you know, is it your product, your environment? Like, dang, like. Javi's on this shit. Excuse me. Like that's my one. So I'm like, well, man, I want to grind up now. Like he's doing so well. Like our Lee's doing so well. Or Prince McDingus is doing so well. Or Dino Please is doing so well. Blito's doing great. Like Luisi's doing great. I'm like, man, like I want to keep up. So I'm just gonna keep doing my thing. Like there's no real extra work. It's just keep at it. Just consistency.
I think it really helps that from the start, there's just like a genuine desire to be around friends and have the camaraderie. There wasn't any need to like enforce anything, right? Well, like we came in very genuine, very honest. When someone new would come in, honestly, there was someone that came in with kind of a different mentality that had like a grinder mentality, like, hey, let's help each other like progress faster, and they were kind of less about the companionship and friendship that comes with it, and they kind of just like phase out themselves because we already have such a foundation for just being homies. Yeah. It's what we know best. Like we've been friends for like a very, very long time. Gary and I, we've known each other like I think over 10 years.
Yes.
Maybe closer to 15 because like I think I knew you even before you were streaming, maybe.
Yeah.
So that was our foundation, is we're just friends streaming, and that brings out the best part of you when you're surrounded by just friends and like good values and good friends. And it makes it just so much easier. So I think you take a lot of the legwork out of those support groups and systems if you just have a base of, hey, we're gonna be friends, like no matter what. Yeah. Let's start here, and then build from that. And we don't even think about the building part. You just
there's no dialogue like between our friend group like that. We just play games. Like it's pretty. It's not simple, but like it's just like genuine. Between everyone, we just want to hang out. So, and they just happen to be streaming. So
and we just always give back to each other, right? Like he doesn't have to go in someone's chat and be in their stream, but he just wants to.
Yep.
He's like, I'm free.
I'm a stream monster. I'm a stream monster first.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Like,
He's a stream monster first, and I've always felt like I enjoy helping my friends as much as I can. So, it's just very natural. I think that's part of it. And there's nothing wrong with being very transactional as a streamer. I just think that's a harder path because you want to start it as a hobby and fall in love with it and fall in love with the people around you. Otherwise, it's so much easier to burn out and lose your way.
Yeah, I think there's like two concepts here that you guys talk about that's super important that we've definitely talked about through our sessions, right? So I think the first one is if you guys ever heard of a zero-sum game, it basically means that some people believe that like in order for something to grow, somebody has to fall. There always has to be a loser with a winner, and that's not something that I believe in, right? And so people who come in with that mindset saying like, hey, I have to get something out of this, right? Because and so they may not like want to share their community, they might not want to share their viewers, and because they're afraid of people stealing their viewers, right? Or like losing their community members. I don't think there's such a thing because people are free to watch whoever they watch. They could watch multiple people at the same time, and you guys didn't really have that zero-sum mindset. So that was really good because you guys were willing to share, and it was a community that actually cared for each other. And then the second thing is finding your tribe, right? Like finding people who value what you value and believe in what you believe, right? And if you find those people, it's a lot easier to do the work that you want to do because it just feels so natural. right? You don't really have to think about it. You don't have to overthink things and wonder if this and whatever, right?
Right.
You guys kind of just knew because everybody is like, it's a safe space, right? And the way you guys go about it, like the way you guys joke, right?
Yep.
When I watch your videos, it's in a very similar style, right? So I think finding a group that really aligns with like your humor and your values and how fast you want to grow and what you want to do to approach it and if people are actually supportive or not, right? I think that's super important.
Yeah, I hate this dude. He sucks.
Yeah.
Hate that Light Arrow guy.
I just need him to know.
Tired of Light Arrow.
Live
dude.
and recorded. Hey, yeah, he
Hey,
sucks.
hey, man. Light Arrow? I know you're watching, bro. You.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to broach a subject here, talk about it. For those who might not know, Peter's actually been a brand manager for me for a very, very long time. And I think that branding is becoming so much more important in the content creator world.
Yep.
So as a bit of a preface, back in the day, I'd say when I'd already been streaming a few years, I met up with Peter. And Peter was trying to basically like help anyone become a content creator streamer, really just achieve their dreams, right? Really like ambitious goal, I love it, audacious dream. And we worked some stuff out. He's like, hey, I can help you. There's some stuff you probably don't know that would help you out. And I'm like, I'm willing to learn anything. Like I've always been that way, especially if it's someone who knows more than me in anything. And I've always been very humble about that. So I was like, you probably know stuff I don't know, so let's work this out. And we just, like hours of worksheets and like figuring stuff out and figuring out like who my target audience would be, who are the people that would probably like vibe with me and I can build a relationship with and turn this into like a real business and something that could support my livelihood and my happiness. And so first of all, I appreciate that, of course. But for those who don't know, like that's something that we developed together, and that information and all of the knowledge that I have has like dissipated also into Gary. So I would also give him some of the same insight that you gave me. And I just want to say like that kind of stuff is more invaluable and I think so much more important in the content creator world. You need to find your identity. Like the sooner you can do that, the more better off you will be. Don't just like pick up some random game that you think is going to be the best or is like really popular, because that method is just so, like it just doesn't really provide the results that you want. If you want to succeed, you need to have something that makes you you, right? What makes you unique? We can all play the same game, but we're going to do it differently.
Yep.
And that's why it's better to just like find all that stuff about yourself, you know, as early as you can. For me, I'm like a fun-loving tryhard. So I love to sweat, but I also want to have fun. So there's a middle area, and that's where I live, right? So if I like what I'm doing, I'm going to start sweating. I'm going to play. I'm going to try. And if I lose, I'm going to be so mad. I'm such a sore loser. But I'm right back on the horse. Like that's always been my thing. And so I've turned that into something.
You're not afraid to admit that?
No, not at all. And I'm not shy. Like, yeah, if I lose, I as a tangent, I do coaching on the side sometimes. And I coach this dude in Guilty Gear Strive. And for weeks and weeks and weeks, we'd come back and have sessions. And he would never get around. And then I think like a few weeks ago, we played. He had just entered a tournament, did great. I was so proud of him. He's like, we should play. I was like, you're right, let's check it. And he beat me by one round. By one round. It was 5-4.
We take those.
And I said, buddy, great job. I hate you. You suck. Run it back. I'm so mad. And that's kind of, again, the value, it's just like knowing yourself. Don't be afraid to learn about yourself and find that identity. And you helped teach me that. And I, again, facilitate that information to him. So thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. And
Thanks,
thank you
Peter.
for working with me so early
For
on.
sure, yeah, no, branding is sick. Branding is sick. Don't look it up, bro. Branding is sick. And he's your guy too. Follow him for all that. But
Thank you. Sure. Gary, you had something to say?
No.
Oh, you were like moving the microphone and I was
No,
like,
I'm just fidgeting, bro.
Yeah.
I'm just moving.
Let's talk about being yourself. Like that's just kind of, so I wanted to, like initially when I was planning this, I was like, okay, how'd you go from like 0 viewers to like maybe 10, then like 25, then 50, right? But then because they've been in the game for so long, and I have to, like the strats that worked back then, like in 2010 to let's say like 14, where you could just kind of stream for super long hours, like that doesn't work today. Right? And so we're talking about differentiation and we're talking about being yourself and trying to, position yourself well where people are able to tell like, oh shoot, like that's, XYZ, right? Like it's instantly recognizable, right? Whatever that is. I think that's super important. So Gary, let's talk about being yourself. Like let's talk about just, putting yourself out there and your character, right? And being like unapologetically you, because then you're so easy to spot. Like not because you're the only tall, like but
too, though.
just the way you dress, right? Or like the way your character is, or the way like your jokes are. When I hear your voice like in Javi's videos, I'm like, oh, that's Gary. Like I know.
I mean, it took a while to like find myself, like throughout Justin TV and all the way up to like Twitch. It was just like a journey, just like to find myself, like really find my own character and like who I want to be as like an adult, like just in general. So I really like built myself up over the past like 15 years, like confidence-wise, like finding my own personality and like who I want to become, like as like a person. So like, it's when I'm on stream, like that's me off and online at the same time. Like I'm gonna be the same dude. Like I might be a little bit more extra like on stream, but like you know for funnies, for the haha. Like,
Right, yeah.
but like I'm the genuine article. Like there's no other version of me. This is me. Like I don't know how to be anything else but me.
Yeah. And it's really cool because for some people, like that's really intuitive. Like you just are and that's fine, right? For other people, you have to do a lot of like looking in the mirror and just kind of thinking about it, like, oh, actually, what makes me me?
I've done that.
Sure.
I've done that.
And it's really uncomfortable.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's something you did with me. Like we had that experience and that whole interaction. And you're right. It feels weird at first. It's like I should just know myself. You really don't. Like you need to take some time to really absorb everything around you and understand how it affects you.
Yeah.
And I guess to transition for me, I always felt like, so I allude to Gary, I knew him when he was shy,
Yep.
right? He felt like a different person. There was a time when he would not always say something.
Yeah.
You know, something really head ass wouldn't come out. That's my one. He wouldn't. That was not normal. But now, it's just commonplace, and it's mostly because you know he took the time, put in the effort. I take the time, put in the effort. But I think collaboratively we also challenged each other. So for example, I mean, I rolled up and I said, "Hey Gary, do you want to do a panel for the first time?" And he's like, "I don't know. I'm a little nervous, but you know what? I'll do it." And I look back to years before where I'm pretty sure he'd be no.
Or they just been no.
Absolutely
I'm
not.
good.
No,
What?
no shot, no shot.
Ain't no way, dude. You ain't catching me in no panel, bro.
Right. And so, and I've always respected that about my homie, and all my homies. It's like we are willing to challenge ourselves at any point, and it's the same thing for me. You know, he's always been. There's times when there's a very prominent streamer called Russian Badger, and I thought I would have no way to interact with him in any way that was meaningful, despite knowing that I'm a content creator that can stand on my 2 feet. And he's like, "Nah, bro, you're funny. Come on in," and. You know, it's him pushing me to go into new areas where I also feel like I can thrive. And if I fail, that's okay. I mean, that's my competitive nature. It's perfectly fine to fail. In fact, you should strive to fail as soon as you can, quickly,
Yep.
because you get all those failures out of the way. It's only growth from there.
They're all lessons, dude.
All of
Like
them,
I
all.
failed so much leading up to this point right here.
Yeah.
So like, it's just you just take that and then you turn into a positive and you just work on yourself.
Right.
Yeah, I think something that I learned that's really interesting, or like a very good way to look at failure, right, is that you rather fail when you're small. You rather have small failures than be already like super big, like like you have like a bunch of people waiting outside the line, right?
Yeah.
And then it becomes catastrophic with the timing or with the tech issues, right? Like we're small, this is cool. Like we appreciate everybody that's here. And because of the room size and because of you know, this is like the first time, it's like no pressure. Hey, we're figuring stuff out, right?
Yeah.
And at least we didn't have like a room full or even 2 rooms full if we opened up that area, right? And then we were having tech issues for like 10 minutes, like that would have been very like anxiety inducing because we didn't take those steps. We didn't take those levels, right? It's just like learn to B&B first and then you can optimize your combos.
Exactly. Real.
Fighting game.
Real.
I had to drop it in.
As a tangent, it's like one of my favorite things to just relate things to fighting games all the time. You know, like I met this beautiful woman, her name's Kaya, and I would always tell my homie, I'm playing neutral with her right now. I'm playing neutral with
We're playing footsies right now,
with
dude.
the-
Yup.
Not those footsies,
Yeah.
the other footsies. Yeah. So I just love doing that. It's such a tangent.
Yeah. What do you think has been like, I mean, you know, if we're talking about like mess ups and lessons learned, right? What do you think was the biggest one for you that really made you go like, ooh, I went through the fire here and I came out a lot stronger. But I didn't think I would at the time.
That's a good question. Damn, we never fail.
Self-reflection.
We never fail. We never fail.
Just go to it, dude.
Yeah, we
Like,
just go to it. What is that? I'm trying to think. I guess for me, this is it's hard because I don't paint things as failure as much nowadays, so the word gets a little, there's like a stigma with it, but in reality, I would say that one of my moments that I'm not as content with, right, if I look back, I try not to have regrets. I think that's really important in life, but there was a time when I was making YouTube videos, and I reached out to a a company, just basically a media company, I guess. And they were great, fantastic, like no shade whatsoever. But I didn't really know what I wanted, right? So I was still trying to find my voice on YouTube. I'd been streaming for a couple years, but I quickly learned that this is not effective. Like I can't just stream long hours like you said. I can't just like stream random games. I need to actually have a plan. And part of it started with exposure from YouTube, which is, I think, the key nowadays anyway. So I was making YouTube videos with this media company, and the media company, they just did not have the quickest turnaround, which was inherently not bad.
Oh yeah, I remember that, yeah.
But I didn't realize that because I wasn't pumping out videos, I wasn't getting data. So it's like in a fighting game when you're playing someone and you know it's Marvel 3 and you don't know what you're doing and you explode in like 10 seconds. Did you really learn anything? Probably not.
No.
No, there's very little you could take away from that. Man, I should have blocked that one mix-up. All right, let's try again. Like that's basically the point. Is it was not a quick turnaround on the videos, and the videos were very expensive. So I was investing a lot in something that I didn't even know was worth it.
Are you comfortable with being transparent with the numbers and everything?
Yeah, I was dropping like $200-300 a video, and this was all coming out of like my wallet. So I mean, full disclosure, I stream part-time mostly and do content creation mostly part-time. But it's like, it's almost.
You still have to allocate the budget.
Yeah, and it's,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be real, it's almost full-time too, realistically. I'm doing basically like 2 full-time jobs. I still work a day job. So a lot of that money was coming out of my pocket, you know? So, and I had to be very cognizant of where that was going. And for me, this felt like a natural thing. Is like, I need editors because I hate editing. So that was some growth. I tried editing. God, I hate editing. It is the worst. It is miserable. It's gut-wrenching. If I have to stare at a timeline ever again in my life, I'll just quit streaming. I'm just done. It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
Oh, yeah, really quick. You don't need to be good at editing. You just need to know how to look at what the video should look like afterwards. You don't have to like physically do the thing, right? So be more of a director than an editor.
Right, and that was something you taught me, you know, because I tried editing, it wasn't working for me. Lee told me to try editing, it wasn't working for me. And I didn't want to spend the amount of time that he put in to be that good. So I was like, you know what, I need to find, right, I need to find something else.
That boy be editing.
Oh yeah,
dude.
shout outs to Lee editing in the mines.
Yeah,
for actual
if you
fun.
watch his videos, like he's the one that does like most of it, right? Like 99% of it.
We'll sit in the Discord. I'll sit in the Discord like 5 in the morning. Well, I'm full time, so like I can be degened as much as I want. So I'll sit there with them so he doesn't go insane. Like, so he's sitting there editing a video. I'm like, hey, it'd be funny if you did that. He's like, shut up. Okay, I'll do it. Like, so yeah, I've seen the horrors of the editing timeline. Like I think he would edit so much that he'd have to, like each section would be its own render pool, because the videos are that thick of like edits. Like literally, like the last video was, I think it was like 4 separate renders.
Yeah. And he has 2 computers already, so he's like equipped. And so obviously I peeped the horrors. I didn't want that. That's not my life. You know what I mean? Like I respect him for what he does, but I'm looking for something different. So yeah, that was a bit of a failure for me. It's like I just invested a ton of money. I did it for about 1.5 years or so. And they were also like, they were outside of the country. So there was like time differences, language barrier a little bit. And it was just really stressful, you know?
Right.
I was giving out notes, like, I was basically giving notes for videos that were like pages long. And I could attest, people could attest that I'd spend like sometimes just a whole night, like a whole evening, into the wee hours of the night, just writing notes like for days, because I really need, it's also hard to explain kind of comedic timing.
Yeah.
And so if someone doesn't have it.
Cultural too.
Right,
Yep.
exactly. So there's so many differences that made it so hard, and that was just it was a hard part. It was a hard time in my life, and I don't regret it. I learned a lot, but I don't know. Again, I wouldn't call it a total failure, but.
It was a good learning lesson.
It was a very good learning.
And Gary, before we get to yours, I want to give a little bit more context to this part, right? Those videos were actually popping off. They were getting like 20, 30K views. Some of them were like 100K views. Like they were doing fine. Like they were doing good. So by all means, like views wise and the rate of subscribers, because I helped manage his channel, like it was doing pretty successful. But because of how fast the videos were coming out, or because there was no like sense of really true direction of what he wanted his content to be, he didn't really know what, like who he was yet fully at the time. Like we didn't think it was a good investment of the money, of the time, right? So we ended up choosing to not work with these people anymore, not because it wasn't good, but just because we just needed to figure out a new direction. And then that's when all the views dropped, right? And that's when mentally, like that probably feels a little bad, because the videos became like 1K views.
Yeah.
Right?
No,
or like sub 1K views.
Yep.
And you're like, oh shoot, like what's going on now? Did I just kill my channel? All these questions started popping up, and we had to work on it to figure out like, okay, what is like the cadence? What is like the true like I Heart Justice video? And it took a while before the video started popping off and a lot of experimentation. But it's, you know, like when you watch movies, right? Someone starts up at the top at the very beginning of the movie and then they like come crashing down, right? Like the hero's journey, right? Like Iron Man, right? Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark. On top of the world, all of a sudden, like he's like nobody again, like in the desert, stuck, and then he becomes Iron Man, new person.
Yep.
Right? So
You reinvent. Yeah. No, absolutely. Thank you for mentioning that. Because there was a dip. There was actually it's one of the most crushing things as a content creator, and you have to be prepared for it. Sometimes you just will not hit numbers. Like you'll start really high, and then when you hit the bottom, you have to be prepared for what that does to you, and it could really change a person. You know, you could totally come out of it and say, I can't do this anymore. Like it becomes so heavy on your mental, which is why it's so important to kind of disassociate, you know, those views particularly, right? It's just data. It's just a way to grow.
And it's also not even about the views sometimes too. Like that's your livelihood, you know, like AdSense revenue. Like it's good when it's good, but when it's bad, you're like, oh shoot, like my money is like almost like you just got fired or demoted, right?
Right, or pay decrease.
Yeah. So it's scary, but I'm glad like you went through it. Now his views are like back to, you know, being like pretty consistent. Like every video is like above 10K. Some even got to like 120.
Yeah, my most popular video on the channel was released late last year.
Yeah. I hate Virgil.
Yeah, we hate
Fire
Virgil.
video.
We hate Virgil.
Fire
we absolutely
video.
hate Virgil.
That's my goat, dude.
And that's a milestone for me, you know what I mean? So it's, you know, it feels great. It feels great now.
Congratulations. All right, Gary.
So mine was out of my control. So Javi, you remember my last house, right? Where
I do.
My last house had terrible internet. Literally, I think I called, so the ISP, Cox Communications, I called them 15 times. It was that bad. I was dropping frames for like hours on end. It was like basically 20% would be a good stream. 80% was just dropping the whole time. Out of my control, there's nothing I could do about it. So it was literally just, all I would do is, like, I had a part-time job, so I was like half-half. It was more so like 60% my part-time and then 40% like on my streaming. So, okay.
Oh no, sometimes it shuts off. It goes
Yeah. So I think I was in the house it was the last 3 years in that house when it was bad, because like my content was doing very well on Twitch. I didn't really upload too much, but my Twitch channel was always popping. So the last 3 years, it got really bad because like something changed on their end, and then my internet just stopped working. So I was like, ooh, this sucks. I don't exist anymore on the internet. This is really bad. So basically, it would just be me collabing, because like I didn't have the internet to stream on my own. So I just jump on other people's streams, just hang out. And I did that for, man, like probably
Maybe 2 years.
like 2 years, yeah. Like, cause like it would basically just be, I start my stream, it'd be on for an hour, and it just die. I call them, they're like, there's nothing we can do. I'm like, oh, man, well, okay. I mean, I guess I'll just like just keep on doing the day job, like stream when I can, hang out with friends, like help their content.
Right.
Cause like I know I'm funny, so at least I can do is jump on and help them out while I'm struggling. So that happened for a while. Finally moved, and now it's just up. Like, cause like I was like, that was when I couldn't get partner too.
Yeah.
Cause like.
I just, as a
Sure.
tangent, I think it's really interesting for you to mention that when people would come over to check his internet, they literally said, yeah, there's like a line that goes under your home.
Yep.
And if we dig it out, no one has internet. Something like that. Something crazy like that.
So they ended up doing that, and then the last time I called, he came in, he's like, hey. So I bought a new router, super fancy router, like $400 router. It's like, if this doesn't fix it, I don't know what's gonna fix it. He came over, he's like, hey man, I'm gonna keep it real with you, dude. This whole complex, this whole neighborhood is fried. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you have to move. There's nothing.
Yeah, he literally told him.
Nothing else you can do.
He literally told him that.
I'm like, are you serious? He's like,
100.
100. You have to get out of this place. Like, I'm like, oh, this is bad. Like,
He was talking as if it was like a haunting or something.
yeah. Like, so I had a Cox rep across the street, and he confirmed, yeah, no, it's fried around here. Like, but he's like, I get mine for free, so I don't care. I'm like, all right, that helps me, thanks. Like cool.
Yep.
But yeah, that was my struggle, because that literally stopped me from getting partner for a long time. I think it was the last year or last like 6 months before I moved, I finally got partnered. I think it was during like a Kingdom Hearts 2 stream or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happened live on stream. It was cool. Like it popped up. I was like, there it is. Like, chat. Like, chat, let's go. So yeah, that was mine, which is not common, I don't think. Like mine's a pretty like niche case of like it's out of my control. Like I can't upload content. I can't do anything.
Yeah.
Like
I don't think it's the most uncommon thing, but like, you know, it's a tech issue thing, right? And it happens and it's out of your hand. And so it's such a really good lesson, like from you. It shows a lot about like how resilient, right, Gary is. Yeah. There's something that's out of his hand that's not working. And I see it really brings down a lot of streamers, right? Like where I'm on Twitter perpetually. And they complain about it and they're like, I don't know what to do. I just feel so useless. I just like, I can't do anything anymore. But then like you figured out stuff to do. You did stuff with your time. You were either helping other people out, you were in chat. So you were still around with what you could do, right? You worked with what you got until something became better and you didn't let it stop you. You moved, you got better internet, and then you kept the grind back up, right? And you have to do that. It's not easier said than done. Way easier said than done.
it was very difficult time because like I love creating and I could not create. I was like, oh, I was shriveling up. I was like, I must outlet somewhere or I'll just jump on friends' streams and just hang out. Like that's the best I can do.
To close it out, let's go like final remarks. Anything else that you guys want to say that's really important? Like, you know, like if you just wanted to give advice to, oh, you know what? I like this question. If you want to give advice to like your younger self, right? What would you say to a younger you who wanted to get into content creation today?
Man, lock in. Like I was very off and on with like streaming for a while. I think if I was more consistent, I'd probably be, I guess the term like more ahead than I am now. If I kept consistent with it, it was always off and on. Like I streamed for like 3 months, stop for a year, and then come back to it, and then stop for a year, like either work or just like personal things going on. Like I just like stay focused, and have fun.
That's great.
Yeah, have fun. Yeah.
I would say don't be afraid to lose yourself in the journey, but just know that you will find a point where it all makes sense. Like, if you believe that you are funny, interesting, entertaining, that you can put some value into the world, you're gonna do it. You just have to know that your voice is somewhere inside of you, and the second you find it, bro, it all just pans out. It all just feels like you were there the whole time. And I would tell my younger self, like, your voice is in there. Just keep looking. Like, don't give up. Don't get discouraged. Don't let other people tell you whatever. You are all the things you want to be. And that's it.
I guess my advice is like, if you're pondering, is this the right thing to do or that the right thing, just do it anyways. Like you won't actually know if it's good for you or is it just working for some other person, right? Yeah. Like if you think you should do it, go ahead and try it and like see what's up. You know, because a lot of people ask me, should I stream on Twitch and YouTube? Should I make TikTok? Should I be on Instagram? I'm like, just do it all. Whatever you can do, just like try it out. And you're like, oh, this is not for me. Okay, cool, right? But you won't know until you try. Yeah. And in these days, like I think anything works as long as it works for you and you're willing to like keep at it, right? Yep. So yeah, that's what I have. Where can people find y'all?
I have a Twitter, @_ZOISX_, and then my Twitch is ZOISX_, and my YouTube, my main YouTube is ZOISX_, or That's the Mix-Up, and then my VOD channel is also ZOISX_, that's the full name, also ZOISX_.
Nice. I think my Twitter has an underscore, but you can just type in I Heart Justice. It's such a random name. Like I'm based now, but yeah.
Based.
But it's, yeah, just type that in, you'll find me. I'm on like basically every platform you can think of. And for sure, how about you?
Me? Oh yeah, so you can find me basically @XenosKing on Twitter and most platforms. But the company that me and my lovely wife, Winnie here, run is Hansei GG, and that's the platform that we're trying to build to help content creators grow their brand and make a living doing what they love. So this panel is powered by Hansei, and you know, shout outs and thank you to Level Up and Kai for having us here and allowing us to have our panel and allowing you guys to have your very first panels. Oh my God, right? We did it. Thank you guys for being here. And thank you for being here, everybody.
For real, thank you for watching.
Mic drop. All right, let's get out of here. Let you guys go about your days. Thank you so much.